Morning. In the last class, we discussed the three types of economic systems: capitalism, socialism, and mixed economy. And the system that India followed, that is mixed economy, and reasons behind choosing mixed economy. Now, today, we will further discuss what is a plan. So, before starting planning or economic planning in India, we would try to understand meaning of plan. A plan spells out how the resources of a nation should be put to use. It should have some general goals as well as specific objectives which are to be achieved within a specified period of time. That means plan is made for a future or plan is decided for a future and it is for a specified period of time. Say we make a plan for 1 year. Budget or annual budget which is presented by the government every year is actually a plan. This is for the next 1 year or one financial year. In India, plans were of 5 years duration and were called 5-year plans. We borrowed this from the former Soviet Union. So in the last class we discussed that Indian Prime Minister was impressed with the system of 5-year planning which was followed by Russia or USSR. So India also followed that. Our plan documents up to year 2017 not only specify the objectives to be attained in the 5-year plans, years of a plan, but also what is to be achieved over a period of 20 years. This long-term plan is called perspective plan. So 5-year planning actually is a short-term plan for the period of 5 years only. And in every 5-year plan, one particular sector was paid attention to or focused. And from 2017, that means we know that the last 5-year plan was up to 2017, and after which the planning commission was converted into Niti Aayog. So after 2017 we have started focusing on a 20-year plan or 20-year outlook. This long-term plan is called perspective plan. The 5-year plans were supposed to provide the basis for perspective plan. So if we have an objective of increasing the per capita income in the 20 years, so this has to be done in 4 5-year plans, and in every 5-year plan one particular sector had to be focused. It will be unrealistic to expect all the goals of a plan to be given equal importance in all the plans. In fact, the goals may actually be in conflict. So it is not possible that all the objectives of the government or plans could be paid attention in the same plan. So in every 5-year plan, separate goal was paid more attention and the other goals were paid less attention. In fact, the goals may actually be in conflict. For example, the goal of introducing modern technology may be in conflict with goal of increasing employment if the technology reduces the need for labor. So self-reliance is one of the objectives of plans in which more reliance or more attention is paid on self-reliant technology or self-technology which is developed within the country. But if we develop modern technology, this will happen that due to modern technology, need for laborers would decrease and there would be less employment generation. The planners have to balance the goals. A very difficult job indeed. You find different goals being emphasized in different plans in India. So, in every 5-year plan, different types of sectors were paid more focus, as we have observed that between 1965 to 70, Green Revolution was a success. In that, we had paid more attention on farming like this. Industrialization was paid more attention in the 50s and 60s, early 60s. India's 5-year plan did not spell out how much of each and every good and service is to be produced. This is neither possible nor necessary. So how much to produce or what to produce one of the main economic problems of an economy. This could not be addressed with the help of five-year plan, although it was tried by Soviet Union, but it was also not possible by them. It is enough if the plan is specific about the sectors where it plays a commanding role. For instance, power generation and irrigation, while leaving the rest to the market. In some plan, power generation and irrigation was paid more attention, and remaining objectives were left to the market, or less amount was allocated to those sectors. So if we go to the goals of five-year plans, let us discuss the five-year plan goals. A plan should have some clearly specified goals. The goals of the five-year plans were growth, modernization, self-reliance, and equity. So you should note down these four goals of five-year plans. Very important topic indeed. So we will discuss these goals of five-year plans one by one. This does not mean that all the plans have given equal importance to all these goals. So in some plan, growth was paid more attention. In some plans, modernization was given more priority. In some, it was self-reliance, and in some, it was equity or equality. Due to limited resources, a choice has to be made in each plan about which of the goals is to be given primary importance. Nevertheless, the planners have to ensure that, as far as possible, the policies of the plans do not contradict these four goals. So, each of the plan should although focus on one of the objectives, but it should not contradict other objective also, or it should not go against the other objectives of plan. Let us now learn about the goals of planning in some detail. Growth. So one of the goals of plan is growth. What is growth? It refers to increase in country's capacity to produce the output of goods and services within the country. It implies either a larger stock of productive capital or a larger size of supporting services like transport and banking, or an increase in the efficiency of productive capital and services. A good indicator of economic growth in the language of economics is steady increase in the gross domestic product. So, as we have already learned that GDP is the indicator of economic growth in any country. So, one of the important goals of economic planning or five-year planning was increase in GDP, and increase in GDP will provide growth to each and every sector. This would increase the productive capacity of the different sectors, and if the GDP increases, GDP will increase the national income also. So if you want to increase the per capita income, the main focus should be on growth. The GDP is the main market value of all goods and services produced in country during a year. You can think of the GDP as a cake, and growth is increase in the size of the cake. If the cake is larger, more people can enjoy it. It is necessary to produce more goods and services if the people of India are to enjoy, in the words of first five-year plan, a more rich and varied life. So from the beginning only, and in modern times also, GDP is the main focus of development for all the countries, and worldwide it is the criteria for measuring the development of any country, because it is believed that if the GDP would increase, GDP would lead to increase in growth or increase of per capita income, and if the income of people increase, their life or standard of life would improve. The GDP of a country is derived from the different sectors of the economy, namely the agricultural sector, the industrial sector, and the service sector. The contribution made by each of these sectors make up structural composition of the economy. So three sectors: primary, secondary, and service sector. So primary sector is primarily agricultural sector. Secondary sector is the industrial sector, in which raw materials are converted into finished goods with the help of machinery. And service sector or tertiary sector provides services. So each sector has its contribution in growth of the country, and it becomes a structural composition of the economy. In some countries, growth in agriculture contributes more than the GDP growth, while in some countries, the growth in service sector contributes more to GDP growth. So in our country like India, we have observed that growth of the service sector has been more in the past few years, and in the beginning, between 1947 until the 70s, it was the agricultural sector which was the primary force behind growth in India. So from time to time, it happens that one sector plays an important role, and later another sector becomes important in terms of growth. So it is a phase or different phases of development of country that improves the growth rate of the country. Initially, it is always that the primary sector plays an important role in growth, and later secondary sector becomes important, and when the country becomes more modernized, it is the tertiary sector which plays an important role in the growth of the economy. Second is modernization. To increase the production of goods and services, the producers have to adopt new technology. For example, a farmer can increase the output of the farm by using new seed varieties instead of using the old ones. Similarly, a factory can increase output by using a new type of machine. Adoption of new technology is called modernization. So you can underline or you can write this meaning also: adoption of new technology. This is modernization. So whenever we use a modern technology in any sector, whether it is farming, whether it is production of clothes, or whether it is tertiary sector, whenever we use a new technology for production, we are modernizing ourselves. However, modernization does not refer only to of the use of new technology, but also changes in social outlook. So this particular line is also important, should be noted down, that improvement in technology as well as change in social outlook, such as recognition that women should have the same right as men. So gender equality is also modernization. In traditional society, women are supposed to remain at home while men at work. A modern society makes use of the talents of women in the workplace, in banks, in factories, schools, etc. And such a society is, in most occasions, is also prosperous. So if we observe the prosperous societies of the world, like US or Japan, we will observe that in these countries, they have improved the technology, or they have attained better technology of production. Secondly, the gender equality is there. Men and women both are contributing equally to the production of the economy or development of the economy, and that is how the per capita income in those countries is better. They have a modern lifestyle, and they are earning better also. So this was one of the goals of 5-year plans. Next is self-reliance. A nation can promote economic growth and modernization by using its own resources or by using resources imported from other nations. The first 5-year plans gave importance to self-reliance, which means avoiding imports of those goods which could be produced in India itself. So initially, India was importing goods from other country, importing capital goods or machinery from other countries. But later, in the initial 5-year plans, the government paid focus on production of machinery in India also, and that is why in 50s and 60s many industries were set up in India. So as self-reliance was one of the main goals of the 5-year plans, the first prime minister of our country paid focus on development of machinery and opening many factories and industries in India. This policy was considered necessary in order to reduce our dependence on foreign countries, especially for food. So self-reliance is also related to green revolution, because as we know that before green revolution became successful, India had to depend for food grain on developed nations like Britain or America, and India had to spend a lot of its foreign exchange reserve on import of food grain. And after food grain sufficiency came in India, that means after the success of green revolution, when India became self-sufficient in terms of food grain production, we attained self-reliance in terms of food grains. Further, it was feared that dependence on imported food supplies, foreign technology, and foreign capital may make India's sovereignty vulnerable to foreign interference in our policies. So this is one of the fear also, because some of the African countries and some small Asian countries have also suffered a lot in hands of other countries when they have totally depended on big countries for their food supplies, for machinery or everything. So the situation became that they could not have their own technology, could not have their own machinery, could not have their own factories for production. So their sovereignties were surrendered to those modern countries. So we can observe countries like America or China. They are continuously in search of those countries, providing them several facilities, technologies, food supplies, so that later they could use their land or use their space for their own means. So to avoid this type of situation, India paid much focus on self-reliance. Next, equity. Now growth, modernization and self-reliance by themselves may not improve the kind of life we people are living. A country can have high growth, the most modern technology developed in the country itself, and also have most of its people living in poverty. It is important to ensure that benefits of economic prosperity reach the poor sections as well, as instead of being enjoyed only by the rich. So equity refers to equality, that means equal distribution of income among people, because GDP growth does not mean that increase in income will increase the income of each and every people. Although it will increase the per capita income and national income, but increase in national income does not mean that each and every person's income is also increasing. It may happen that few percentage of people who are on the top level of the economy, their incomes may have increased manyfold, and due to which the per capita income and national income have also increased. So we have to see that per capita income increase is enjoyed by the poor people also. That means bringing more and more people out of poverty and increasing the per capita income of the masses. This should be equity. It is important to ensure that benefits of economic prosperity reach the poor sections as well, instead of being enjoyed only by rich. So in addition to growth, modernization and self-reliance, equity is also important. Every Indian should be able to meet his or her basic needs such as food, a decent house, education and health care, and inequality in distribution of wealth should be reduced. So the government also focused that each and every person should have his own house, should get food, and that is why ration shops or PDS shops are active in our country, so that each and every person should have regular supply of food Housing plans are also running in our country. So several types of housing plans. Sometimes it is Indira Awas Yojana, sometimes it is Prime Minister Awas Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. Due to these and healthcare also, currently healthcare system by the government is also very popular. So these type of schemes are run by the government to have equity in our country, so that each and every person should have all the benefits. So subsidy is also provided to poor people. The farmers are getting subsidy on the implements, then they are getting subsidy on diesel. So that the basic reason behind this is providing equity or equality among people and equal distribution of wealth. So inequality in distribution of wealth, it has to be reduced, because it will increase the gap between poor and rich. So if it's the government leaves it to the market, the rich people will become more rich, poor will remain poor, and the gap between them would increase. So imposition of tax, more tax to the rich people, and providing subsidies to the poor people. This is one of the steps in the path of equity. Let us now see how the first 7 5-year plans covering the period 1950 to 90 attempted to attain these 4 goals, and the extent to which they succeeded in doing so. With reference to agriculture, industry and trade, you will study the policies and developmental issues taken up after 1991 in chapter 6. This in chapter number 2, we will discuss about this only. So that is enough for today's discussion. Thank you.